So my mum's downsizing because she's coming to live with me, but she's going to live in her own little bit. And she asked me if I'd got a cardboard box that she could put all her sewing stuff in, because she's got tons of sewing stuff, but wants to get it all down to a little small box. Now, it's me. I can't give her a cardboard box just to keep her sewing bits in. So I'm going to make her one, a little tiny sewing box, using this box and this box. So, stick with me, and we'll see how it comes out. The first thing, as always, is to take the little catches off and the hook and the hinges to make sure that I can paint it and do it up exactly how I want it. Always putting them into something so I don't lose them. The next thing to do is give these a bit of a rub down all the way over to get rid of any of the little rough bits that are on here. These aren't always finished to the best of standards. And now that's done, what I'm going to do is paint these boxes white to start with as a good primer. Now I'm using good old house paint for this, and it's so much cheaper than buying and using your acrylic paints. So I'm going to paint not only the inside but the outside as well, so it's all lovely and white. Well, that's all painted, both of them. Now what I'm going to do is use this decoupage napkin that I've got to cover this box with. All I'm using is PVA glue mixed with a little bit of water to thin it down. I don't use any special glue, and then I'll paint that over. Place my napkin on here where I want it. I don't mind if there's a few wrinkles in it, and then I'll go over that with a little bit more PVA glue, making sure that it's all stuck down so there's no bubbles in it anywhere. And then I'm going to fray my edges as I go around the corner by just cutting that off like that, fraying those, and then pull that off there. Now, I don't mind if it overlaps on the back because I'm going to put a felt base on this anyway. And by overlapping on the back, when I put the felt base on, it's going to look neater. There's not going to be any box exposed. Okay, and now that's all nice and wet. Pull these corners off, fray them a little bit, ready for the next side to go on. And I'm not too worried about what the inside is going to look like either, because I'm going to line the inside. I'm going to finish off the whole box in the same method. Then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Well, while the box is drying, what I'm doing is cutting out some little bits of hardboard here to go in all the sides and the base and the top, and I'm going to pad those out. This is really easy to get hold of, and it's a lot firmer than cardboard. It's made out of a wood chip, and it's not expensive, but it worked really well. So I need another one of these sides, and all I do to cut this is use a normal craft blade, hold my piece on that I've measured out that I know is the right size, and then I do several cuts of this going down. I don't try and cut it all in one go, because that way you're likely to go off angle or you're likely to cut yourself, and this way you get a much neater cut. So for instance, I've got my cut there. I can just softly go down it now, just a few times, cut all the way through. And there we go. I will link it in the description below, so don't worry about that. And I want to pad these out the same as this. So this one I've already done. And that's really easy to do as well. All I need to do is, I've got some packaging foam here, because you know me, hoarder, never one to waste anything. All I need to do is cut the size that I want, like that. And it cuts so lovely with a blade. A bit extra there that I don't need. So I can cut that off. I've got all these labelled so I know where they go. Give myself a bit of paper, some contact adhesive like this spray-on adhesive, and give it a quick spray. Let that dry for a few minutes, or if you can't be bothered to wait, dry it a bit with the hairdryer, and then you can put on your bit of foam. Now I'm going to do that with all the pieces that I've done ready. What I'm going to do now is quickly varnish these, and I'm going to be using a gloss varnish because I want this to have a gloss finish to it. Not only will that protect the decoupage I've put on here, but I hope it'll also give it a really nice finish. And it's so hot. It's 34 today here, which is very unusual for the UK. So this isn't going to take long at all to dry. I'm using an acrylic gloss varnish, and it will seal this really well. And it'll also have two coats, and that way I know I've got no misses on it, but also it gives it that extra bit of toughness to it. While that's drying, what I'm going to be doing is covering all these while the varnish is drying on that. I've got some really bright material that I really like, and I think my mum will like as well, and I'm going to pop that onto all these panels that I've made using my stapler. Now, I'm not pulling it too tight, just tight enough for it to be a firm covering over this. I'm doing both these edges, and then I'm folding this up to get a neat corner edge. And then we've got a nice neat piece there, all well covered. I'm going to go ahead and finish covering all of them in the same way. So this is all dry now, and I'm ready to put this together. What I'm going to be using for the foam for the base is this impact adhesive. I love this. It is really good for gluing things like this together that are going to be very, very strong. And I'm going to do it as a two-part, so I'm going to put it on the base first, spread it all out, and I will link it in the description below, don't worry. Then I'll apply it to the foam, and then give it 10 minutes, and then I can glue them together, and that will be together permanently. It won't come off. It does smell, so work in a very well ventilated area. You don't want to be breathing this in too much. Put that to one side, and now we can do the same with this. So that should be dry enough now, and I can pop this on. You're not going to get much chance to move this about once you connect it. So make sure you get it on where you want it to start with, and then all I'm going to do is go across it like this with my hands and push that all the way down, and then I can trim it up with a sharp blade afterwards around the edges if it overlaps anywhere. Well, everything's dry now, and all I need to do is put these bits on, and I'm going to do them in exactly the same way by double gluing each of the panels using this glue. Again, scraping it on there, and then scraping some on the front, letting that dry, and then pushing them quite firmly together. I'm going to go around, do the whole thing, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to just do the final finishing details and what it all looks like finished. It's nearly finished now. All I'm going to do is glue some ribbon around here to cover up that seam all the way around, and the same on the edge of the inside of the box, or the edge of the box. I'm using white Yoo-hoo or clear Yoo-hoo glue for this because if I squeeze it out too much, then it will dry clear and you're not going to be able to see it. And this will dry fairly quickly as well. We'll just tidy that whole seam up. And run my finger along that. And then I'll put it all together. I'll put the screws back in and the hinges on and show you what it all looks like finished. And this has only taken me about 2.5 hours. So it's not been a long project at all. Well, it's all finished now. I put a better latch on it for my mum because I think that one will be easier for her. And that's what it looks like inside. So she can put all her little bits and bobs in, whatever she needs in here. And then the sides are nicely padded. I think that's come out really, really well. She can use the top as a pincushion if she wishes, like that, just to put things in as she's doing little bits and pieces. Or she can use this little pot that I've made for her as a pincushion as well. And they just pin in there like that. So she can see which are pins. I did a contrasting colour rather than yellow on this. And I did a yellow ribbon around the edge because I thought, well, I think that will look nicer. Little bit of contrasting. And that's the ribbon that finishes it all off. Closes really well. And it will keep everything that she wants all together because she doesn't want too much. She only wants to carry a little bit around now. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this project. I really love doing it. I love making things for my mum because she always, always appreciates them. Move that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see how I've done other boxes and what I've done with them, very different things with them, then I'll link a video at the end. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee just to say thank you and help me save towards my mini router and router table, then the link for that is in the description below. But most of all, take care and enjoy your crafting. Bye.